Hi, I'm Allison from Derry. I look at the crisis on the border and I wonder if Mexico's government is not partially to blame. How do you deal with that situation in regards to the Mexican government?
Yeah, so the Mexican government is absolutely failing. So I would characterize it less as a blame and more they just can't handle it. They're not a sovereign government really anymore. You're not supposed to say it that way, but I just think it's the truth, right? You have a co-sovereignty in Mexico right now between the actual the recognized Mexican government and the cartels. The Sinaloa cartels alone, let alone Jalisco and a bunch of the others, right? You've actually had standoffs where the Mexican government had to back off in military standoffs based on how much the cartels control in terms of military might. So Obrador, I don't blame Mexico, I blame Obrador. Okay, so AMLO, they call him, it's his full name, but Obrador is the current president. His term ends in 2024. So there's actually a really important 2024 presidential election in Mexico. I'm paying close attention to it. So here's my vision, okay? I'd like for Mexico to take care of its own problems without us getting involved. Here's what we're doing. I'm taking over in January 2025. Everything I'm telling you is like month one stuff, okay? We take undeployed troops by the hundreds of thousands. We secure the southern border, not just building the wall. Building the wall was insufficient. You go to the border now, I mean, there are tunnels, right? Professionally built, cartel-built tunnels. I'm not talking about people crawling through tunnels. I'm talking about military-grade vehicle size can run through that tunnel and cross our southern border. What I'm saying is that's not enough. We have to use our own military to secure our own southern border. And by the way, many parts of our northern border as well. Don't forget about that. You guys know that well in New Hampshire. That's what we're doing as step one. Step two, and we're done with the Ukraine war, right? No more money going to Ukraine. I'm calling up the new president of Mexico and having an open conversation. Saying, listen up. I want to help you for a tiny fraction, and we've done the math. It will be a tiny fraction of the, it pains me to even say it, $200 billion that we have spent in Ukraine. For a tiny fraction of that, we will help you regain your sovereignty and solve your cartel problem. Why? Because it's spilling over, and just fentanyl alone is killing 200 Americans per day. 50 times the number of people who will die of fentanyl deaths crossing the southern border. Fentanyl crossing the southern border will cause the deaths of 50 times the number of Americans who died on 9/11. Think about that. So we're willing to not only use our military to close the Swiss cheese of a southern border, but we will also help you solve your problem and regain your sovereignty. But if you don't, we will solve it for you. Full stop. If we've done it to ISIS in a different part of the world, that's a big part of what I give Trump credit for. This should be simple compared to what we did halfway around the world with ISIS. And this actually saves American lives right here on American soil. And back to that question that Derek had about pride in this country. Think about pride in our military. It's been a long time since we've used the U.S. military to actually solve a problem that resulted in the loss of American lives on American soil. Think about what this one does, though. That we actually solved the border crisis. That we have meaningfully solved or taken steps to solve the fentanyl crisis that's killing, on track to kill close to 100,000 people this year. Well, boy, would people be proud of serving in that military rather than an aimless goal that did not meaningfully actually advance the American interest. And that's my rule. If I'm going to ask parents across this country and ask their kids to put themselves, even to take the risk of being in harm's way, it better darn well be to actually advance the interests of Americans here at home. That will be my litmus test. Thank you. Thank you.